Do you want to feel more confident about your writing? I've got 2 exercises for you that are going to do the job. This is Writing Weekend. Writing is a practice met daily, either on the page or off. These 2 exercises will help you find balance in that practice. I'm going to write with you. 2 minutes on the timer. Let's go. Welcome to Writing Weekend. If you're new to this channel, I'm offering 2 exercises to help you find a way through in your writing so that you can write no matter what. And I'm here every Saturday, so please subscribe to stay on track with your writing. Today, how can we feel more confident in our writing? This comes up a lot, and there are some really useful techniques that we can use to work through this. So the first is where that confidence means that we're looking at other writers and we're assuming that they've got something that we don't, and how we can use that perspective to our benefit rather than at the moment it's making us feel that we're just not enough and that we're never going to get there. And the second exercise is really going to enable you to make contact with a deep feeling of confidence within you so that you can begin to make the progress that you deserve in your writing. So let's look at the first exercise first. So often when we compare ourselves to other people, we're essentially denying our own power or our own ability as writers. But we're going to use that comparison to our benefit for this exercise. So what I want you to do is to think of a writer that you admire. So it may be a book that you have recently read and you just thought, oh my God, that was so amazing. Maybe you've got a favorite author that comes straight to mind. So first of all, think of a writer that you admire. Now, of course, we assume that they have confidence. They're successful, they're getting published. So now we want to imagine that confidence. We've got this writer that we admire and we are imagining their confidence. So this is the first exercise that I want you to write on. This writer, imagining their confidence, I want you to write for 2 minutes on how you imagine that they go about their work. So we've got this writer that you admire, we're imagining their confidence. Now I want you to imagine how do they go about their work. 2 minutes, off you go. Okay, So this exercise is all about getting really specific about those qualities in other writers that we admire. And when we start to get specific about them, we're essentially teaching them to ourselves rather than just holding someone out there in a place of admiration and keeping ourselves in a state of, I don't really know how they do it. And essentially what that means is that we're telling ourselves that there's an aspect of writing that we're never going to get to grips with. Not very good for our confidence. So let's just reflect on how you found that exercise. It's a really useful one to keep trying if you find yourself lacking in confidence, because the more you approach it, the more you're going to start to get really specific about different processes of writing, and then you're going to start taking them on. So I was imagining my favourite writer, and the first thing that I described was they sit down to write. And I realised that that in itself is a huge act of confidence. So when I'm working with writers and they're lacking that confidence, the one thing that they're not doing is writing. So again, this really simple act of sitting down to write is showing ourselves, oh, okay, there must be some confidence there because I'm doing the thing that my favourite writer would be doing. And then the second thing was, I was writing here, they begin from a deep place of connection. They've been writing for so long that they know their methods. And again, this is really useful when we're trying to build up our own confidence, to get really specific about what our methods are. Because as long as we keep this whole writing practice or this whole writing thing as something that we can't really define, how can we be confident about something that we don't really know about? So again, the more we get clear on our own methods as writers, the more our confidence is going to grow. So that's how looking at another writer and imagining their confidence and imagining their process and actually writing it down can really help to start us to get clear about what we need to start to know about our own process in order to grow confidence. So the next exercise I want to take you through is where we're essentially generating that confidence within us. So what we want to do is to think about a time that we have felt confidence. So this is just to lead you into that second exercise. Think about a time that you have felt confident, and this can be in any aspect of your life. It doesn't have to be to do with writing. The most important thing is that it's a time that you felt confident. So just go with the first thing that comes to mind, a time that you felt confident. And I want you to write for the next 2 minutes on what that was like. So I specifically want you to describe, how did it feel when you felt confident? What were you saying to yourself? And what were you doing? How did it feel? What were you saying to yourself? And what were you doing in this time that you felt confident? Off you go. Okay. So again, let's reflect on that one. We were describing a time that you felt confident. So this is essentially a little bit like a transplant. We're looking at an experience that we've had of confidence, and then what we're looking to do is define it to such an extent that we then transplant it into our writing life. So I was kind of surprised at what I chose. And for me, I know that it's really important to go with the first thing that comes into my mind, because if we start filtering out our ideas, then we're going to find that we start to get less and less ideas. So I had to go with the first thing that I came up with, which was that I felt confident making a YouTube video. The reason this is really interesting is because it made me realize that for me, confidence doesn't mean that there isn't also the existence of nerves and fear, but that what was also going on was an absolute passion for what I was doing. So sometimes, and this made me think about some of the clients that I'm working with, there's this perspective that confidence must just mean an absence of anything negative, and that's not actually the case in every situation. Confidence for me, I realized, was much more about how passionate I felt about something. And that passion was so strong that even though there was a little bit of fear and a little bit of nerves, I wasn't going to let that get in my way. And I put at the end, it doesn't necessarily mean there's an absence of fear or nerves, as I said. Yes, those are there, but my dreams are louder. And so part of the confidence is wanting those dreams to come true for me. So here's where we begin to make that transplant. There's this understanding of, okay, confidence is about having passion. It's about enjoying what I'm doing. It's about having a dream. And it's okay to be afraid as well. So if I'm sitting down to write and I want to be confident, I can just remind myself, hey, look, it's okay to feel fear and nervous right now. But you know that you're passionate about writing. You know that you've got dreams as a writer. Okay, that must mean that there's some confidence there as well. So there we go, 2 really useful exercises for you to come back to whenever you need. If you feel that confidence dipping, you can take a little bit longer on the exercises, and you can reflect and you can go over your words. But hopefully these exercises have given you a little boost to step into your weekend and get some more writing done. So I would love to hear how these exercises have brought insights and information to you. If you enjoyed them, give me a like. And if you've got any comments, drop them down below, then I can respond to them personally. And remember, this is all about writing no matter what, not letting anything get in our way, because essentially we're writers and that's our destiny. And I will see you next Saturday.